Hi guys, Bolt here once again. Today we'll be looking at the 3rd US Armored. Now I've been neglecting this battle group for quite some time, but it is finally time to dive into this. So, let's just quickly go through it. It's a really interesting battle group to use and definitely good when it comes to tank on tank action, but also decent on the infantry. So, yeah. In the Recon tab we have Recon, as you might guess. We have a two-man squad with Thompsons. And the interesting thing about these Thompson machine guns is that they have the same suppression and blast as the PPSH at the same range. So that is really good for close quarters right there. We have a 50 cal Jeep, good recon, but probably better for like fire support to help your infantry out. We have the Scouts, 4-man team with 2 Thompsons and 2 carbines. You can get loads of these actually. We have the M5a1 Recon. Man, the tank sounds are really loud in this game. With the 37mm M6, it has both AP and HE, a 50 cal, and 2 Browning 30 cals. Really good fire support. It has high optics, very bad stealth, so don't expect to flank around with this thing. But it will be really good to support your infantry with. And we also have the M8. Now this is probably my favorite Recon unit. I've been using this with the French quite a lot, and they're really effective. 37mm, a 50 cal, and also a 30 cal. Really, really good loadout there to both suppress infantry and take out lightly armored vehicles, but if you get some ambush shots, you'll be able to kill some tanks as well. In the infantry tab, really good infantry actually. So we have a leader here with 2 carbines and 1 Garants and smoke nades. And the infantry comes in a wide variety of vehicles, including the M3a1 that has a 50 cal on top, or the M3 that has a 30, or the M2 that has no guns, and that's kind of alters the price, with the 20 points being the 50 cal. Quite pricey, but personally I think they're worth it. If you micro them well, you'll be able to really have a crap load of fire support. We also have regular rifles here with 2 M1 carbines, 8 M1 Garants, and bazookas, surprisingly. So this is a 10-man team that is really good at medium range engagements, and also has bazookas to deal with enemy vehicles. And you can get a load of these in A phase as well, and it just goes crazy in later phases. We have engineers, and once again all of the infantry comes in a wide variety of vehicles, so just yeah, just keep that in mind when you make this. Really, you can go for 30 cals or 50 cals, 30 cals, or no cals. No cals is probably best cals. We got engineers, assault squads with 2 Thompsons, 7 Garants, and TNT. Just a good close quarter / mid-range engagement infantry. We have leaders with the SMGs, the Thompsons, and carbines, and the Wheelie Pete, the anti-tank grenade. Does a whole lot of blast. Absolutely crazy. Only 100 meters range though. Now the only downside to these rifles and engineers is their lack of long-range properties, but that's where these LMG rifles come into play. So they have 8 M1 Garants at 500 meters and 2 30 cals at 750. So they're really good, I would say, for towns, but also at like the edge of a tree line to just take out infantry before they even get close. It kind of reminds me of the 28th Jaeger with all the Sturmschützen being at 500 meters. We also have the bar variant. Now these guys are nuts. 2 Thompsons, 7 Garants, a bar machine gun, and bazookas. What is that about? They are really pricey, so if you couple them up with the M3a1, they will be 50 points per unit. So yeah, that kind of makes it tricky. And we also have engineer leaders, but yeah, 2 Thompsons, Garants, and TNT. So that is pretty good infantry. The tank tab is what it's all about. I'm just going to zoom out here. We have the M5a1 Command with the 37mm M6 with 2 30 cals. Really good loadout in general. We also have the non-commander variant. Same stats. I mean, they both have 70mm pen and 40% accuracy, which is not bad at all. And they have 2 machine guns, so they can actually be a really good fire support for only 30 points, and they're actually really fast on road. We have the Command M4a1, the Command Sherman, with the 75mm late version of the M3 gun. 90mm pen, 40% accuracy, decent front armor for early phases in the game. Not so much in like phase C, but if you have a bunch of them, then maybe. A 50 cal and 2 30 cals. We also have the regular version of this, exact same stats, No surprise. Now it becomes interesting. We have the M4A3 75W, the Sherman with basically a better front armor, 10 more front armor in millimeters, 5 more side, same exact guns, but it has more rounds for the 50 cal, double the inventory there. Now we have the 76mm Sherman, M4A1 with 130 mil penetration. It's a long barrel, and I believe the barrel also like squeezes the round a little bit. I might be wrong, but it's a longer barrel, so more velocity, so more penetration as well, and it's a larger caliber. Yeah, really good tank gun on that, and also has HE, which is good. You're not like stuck like the Valentine's, where you cannot engage infantry. We also have the command version of that, and finally we have the M4A3E2 Jumbo with a overcompensating front armor. Not the best gun, it's the same 75mm like always. It still has the 50 and the 30 cals, but if you like combine that with the M4A176, then you have like the best of both. And this becomes even better when you use the Wolverines from the anti-tank tab. In the support tab we have heavy flamethrowers, just good infantry in general, and the funny thing is you can get once again a wide variety of vehicles. We have the 30 cal squads, the HMGs, 1000 meters range, and we have different versions of these. So we have the M1919 and the M1917. You get more of the M1919, I believe, didn't we? Yeah, you get more of them on the lowest vet, but mid vet it doesn't make sense in some cases. I would just go for the M1919. Like, why would you even risk getting less, I guess? But honestly, it doesn't matter for the mid vet, in case, only in this case where it have one less with the M1917. But yeah, I would personally just go for these guys. It might be, yeah, I don't know what the difference is. You guys let me know down in the comments. We have the Command M8, just the same M8 that we saw in the Recon tab, with still a tank gun, 37mm. It only has 300 rounds in the M50 cal, which you'll go through really quick. You'll be out in 1 minute exactly. It also has a 30 cal, which you'll be out of in 5 minutes. So, of continuous shooting. So do keep these guys supplied pretty well. We have the M8 Scott assault gun, good for dislodging infantry out of any place really. 75mm HE shells will absolutely demolish a town. It's not going to be the same as with the AVRE, but it'll still wreck face. We have supply trucks, and we have the M2 version, and this is armored, but you do get the same amount of supplies and same amount of cards or units. It is just a little bit slower, but slightly armored, so probably put these like, I would say maybe later phase of the game. When you call out a lot of tanks to the front line, that might actually be a good idea. And then just have these guys in phase A, because you only get one card of these M2s. We have the 50 cal machine gun team. Really good units to use. 1500 meters range, same range as the MG42. Yeah, it's beautiful to see these guys go. Commanders in 8 phase in the infantry version. We got the M4 with the 105mm assault gun. Much more suppression and blast than the 75mm M8 Scott, that's for sure. And also they have this slightly lower rate of fire in the M4. 5 rounds instead of 6 rounds per minute. And the traverse speed is lower with the M4 as well. So keep all of those in mind. We got the M20 Commander in B phase. M4A3 with the 105mm once again in the support tab. And the main difference here is that it has heat shells as well on top of just HE. And it has more ammo for the 50 cal. So for 10 points, I think that is worth it. Probably go for this guy here. And last we have the M475 Commander with the 75mm, just the Sherman with the 75. Good front armor though, 110mm, and good amount of ammo for the 50 cals and the 30 cals as well. Let's quickly get that sound over. In the anti-tank, pretty good actually. So we have a 2-man Bazooka Team, 250 meters range with 2 Thompsons, but honestly, a lot of your infantry already has bazookas, even the LMG teams. So yeah, I wouldn't go for these honestly. Maybe if you're like trying to be more sneaky with them, then yeah, maybe. But apart from that, they're not probably not worth your investment. We have the M1 57mm gun. You can get 3 of these, which is completely insane. 150mm penetration, really impressive, really impressive. We have the M10A1 tank destroyer with the 165mm penetration with the APCR, which drops to 130 with the AP rounds, and both at max range at really good accuracy as well, 55 and 45, and it has HE. The thing with these anti-tank guns is this one has medium stealth, whereas this one also has medium stealth. Some AT guns you do need to keep in mind have really good stealth, like the Panzerbüchse or some of the other like 37mm or 42mm, whatever, 45mm, sorry. So yeah, as I said, the M5 gun with a 76mm M1 tank gun on it, or anti-tank gun, 165mm pen, which drops to 130 with the AP. So really good anti-tank loadout here. AA, the same thing, really good quality units. We have the M16 here with the quad 50 cals, 1800 meters range, insane rate of fire. I mean, the suppression and blast is nuts as well. These guys will be able to wreck planes if they get too close. And they used to even kill planes in Steel Division 1 where AA was basically useless. We have the Bofors, 40mm autocannon on this, 2500 meters range. And we have the M15 GMC with the 37mm gun on it, as well as 250 cals at 2500 and 1800 meters range. I'll probably recommend getting these guys in later phases and then the Bofors in phase A. Artillery, not too bad. We have the Artillery Commander, just a leader unit in the artillery tab. Good for buffing up your infantry in B phase most likely. 2 Thompsons and 8 carbines. 10 dudes in this squad, and they all have binoculars, so they should have good optics. There you go. Mortars, 60mm. Crappy range, good rate of fire. Yeah, I mean, even tanks can engage this while these guys will be out of range, so I wouldn't really recommend these, honestly. We have the Piper Artillery Air Observer with the 155mm follow-up artillery. We have the 105mm Artillery Observer as well. And we have some good mortars here. The 81mm on a half-track, a self-propelled, and it also has a 50 cal. But the mortars now fire at 3000 meters range compared to 1800. We have the M7 self-propelled artillery, 105mm gun, max range, 6 rounds per minute. Really good in general, really. Man, those are loud. We have the M4A1 Artillery Observer, 105 or 155mm follow-up artillery. We have the Long Toms, and I have put these guys in my battle group. I cannot even zoom out. I've put these guys in my battle group immediately in multitude. So those are going to be fun. We have the Calliope, 150 point unit, has loads of rockets, 60 114mm HE rockets, and it also has a gun. I mean, why not, right? It has a 75mm gun and 110mm front armor. And we also have the 203mm Artillery Observer, and that is it for the artillery tab. So pretty good in general. I'm gonna definitely have fun with the Long Toms, that's for sure. In the air tab we have the Piper, good recon plane to use, very slow, but yeah, I mean, it's the only one you can use apart from the F6, but you only get 2 of these in B phase, 1 of them in A phase. Speaking of the F6, really fast, 600 kilometers per hour, 450 cals, good agility and bad resilience. So what the resilience means is when this guy gets engaged by heavy ornaments, it'll probably die really quick. Agility means that it can, you know, turn on the dime basically. We have the B-26. I don't know why I cannot zoom out, but here it is. We have the B-26 with 20 45 kilogram HE bombs. It also has a 50 cal on the nose, and what else? 2 50 cals on the turrets. Oh my god. It has 4 turrets, 4 50 cals. There you have it. There's John right there. We have the P-47D with the 8, you've heard it, 8 50 cals. Absolutely crazy planes. One of the best at dogfights I've seen. Yeah, I mean, the agility is not great, but it has medium resilience, good optics, and is insanely fast, 680 kilometers per hour. We also have the P51D, a slightly slower plane but still really fast with bad resilience, good agility compared to medium. So the P51D is better at dogfights, and the P47D is better at like the initial engagement when you're strafing each other because of this extra 50 cals. But yeah, after that, after the initial strafe, the P51 will be better. B26, I'm just gonna look at it like this, I guess, with the 450 kilogram bombs. It has the 50 cal on the nose, 2 50s turrets, 4 50 cal turrets, and really good loadout, like almost 2 tons. That's 1800 kilograms in total there, which is really good. P51D here with 2 110 kilogram bombs. It's a fighter bomber, as the name says, so probably going to be like, oh, let me engage this infantry and then also engage those planes kind of thing. But do keep in mind that when you use fighter bombers, keep your stuff on auto Winchester off, because when these guys drop the bombs, they will automatically evacuate if you have that option turned on. If you want to know more about that, check out my tutorials. So yeah, P47D with the 10 HE rockets on the wings, for 5 on this side, 5 on the other side. Really good at suppressing anything on the ground, including tanks, but better like at infantry and AT guns and AA and all that good stuff. Speaking of tanks, we also have the P47D with the 10 127mm anti-tank rockets. These things smash and probably will get nerfed. Last, we have the P51D with the 2 450 kilogram bombs, giving you a total of 900 kilograms of HE on top of the enemy. 400 kilograms or 400 kilometers per hour, which is really not bad for a bomber with that payload. So yeah, pretty pricey though, so just keep that in mind. In the defense, the same as always. You do now get 50 cals though. 50 cal bunkers, look at that. Isn't that cool? So that was that. So let's quickly look at what we have, and we might actually make some adjustments based on that review there. In the Recon tab, only 2 Recon units, so we have the 2-man teams in A phase. We have 4 of them in A phase to try to like do a flank around the enemy flanks, obviously, and see their artillery way in the back. And we also have the M8 Recon in A phase as well, 3 of those to help out with our initial rush or with our tanks in A phase there. Yeah, if you don't like the weak Recon and like the lightly armored Recon, you could just go for like the M5a1 or get the scouts instead. But yeah, I like to play with my Recon in a more stealthy way, so I like to keep them as small as possible. In the infantry tab, quite a lot of infantry. We have the rifles here in the M3a1, so that makes them 45 points for a single unit. You could go for the M3, which would make them a lot cheaper, 10 points more, or 10 points less, or you could go for the M2 without a machine gun, making them 20 points less. But I like the 50 cals. So we have 9 of those, and these transports are really quick as well, 70 kilometers per hour. We have 5 engineers in A phase as well, with Thompsons and the Garands. Once again in the M3a1. So quick, good combination of units. We also have in B phase more rifles in the M3, and we have the LMG rifles in B phase as well to reinforce, let's say, a town that we've captured or a tree line that we've captured with some LMGs. And in C phase, just to reinforce, oh, that kid needs to shut up. In C phase we have 18 of these rifles here with the bar and also with the bazooka. So not too bad, with the 2 Thompsons, 7 Garands, a bar and a bazooka. Like, what is that about? That's a really good unit. I have not gone for any leaders because they just take too much. In the tank tab, Jesus Christ, there comes the sound again, and we can zoom out, good. In A phase we have 8 M4a1s. Why did I not go for these dudes? Well, you cannot get them in A phase unless you go for nope, not even on lowest vet. So we have 8 of these. In B phase we have 12 of the M4a176s, believe it or not, with also the command version of it, or the leader version, and 2 jumbos. So that is a load of tanks. And in phase C we have 11 of those M4a375Ws with the better front armor, while as these guys have the better penetration. So one thing that I could do possibly is switch these up, basically get these in B phase and get the 76s in C phase, so that we get 3 more, and that way we can actually support the jumbo a little bit better in case we need to. In the support tab we have supplies in A phase, or B phase, sorry. We have 50 cals in B phase to reinforce our infantry positions. We have the M20 Commander in B phase, and in C phase we have more supplies. I usually go for supplies in A phase, but because of our artillery, which I will show you later, and because of the fact that most of our tanks are in later phases, I've gone for the supplies in phase C. In the anti-tank tab, we have the M5 or the M1 in A phase and the M5 in B phase. I do want the tank destroyers in here as well, so we'll have to look at that. In the anti-air, we have 2 Bofors in mid-vet A phase, 2 of these M16s in mid-vet B phase, or lowest vet B phase, and in phase C we have these M15 AA pieces on the lowest veterancy. Artillery is kind of where we went all out, really. We have these mortars in A phase, the 81mm, leaders in B phase to help out our infantry, 2 Calliopes, and 2 cards of these long toms. Now the thing is, I could go with the lowest veterancy, and then with the 2 points that we have, get the tank destroyers in C phase, or perhaps in B phase here, since yeah, we probably want like a good foothold perhaps, or something like that. We could go for lowest vets. Yeah, B phase mid vet is probably the best balance there. So yeah, with the 4 long toms, they are now on the lowest veterancy, so I might have to sacrifice 1 leader to make them better. But once these hit, I bet they're just gonna wreck everything. In the air tab, we have the 6 Recon Planes in A phase. We have 2 of these P51D5s in A phase on lowest vet, and the P47s in B phase. And the reason for this is the A phase fighters are better at dogfights, and you only get 2 of them on a lowest veterancy, whereas with these guys, since they do have more machine guns, I put them on phase B, and you just get more of those in phase B as well. Like, you only get 2 of these P51s in phase B mid-vet, and you get 4 of these in phase B mid-vet. So that was an easy choice to make. We also have the P47D in B phase mid-veterancy with the 10 HE rockets, and in C phase lowest veterancy we have the P47Ds with the anti-tank rockets. I've not gone for any of the bombers, since I've built this deck to be a more quick deck, if that makes sense, for some quick battles, tank rushes, and all that good stuff. Yeah, you could go for the B26s instead of these fighter bombers, but I like to have these quick rocket strikes instead of a slow chunky bomber. That was it. That was my battle group. I hope that was interesting. Hope you learned a little bit on how to build this one. The code for this is down in the description, or at least there is a link leading you to a Google Doc. Copy that code. If it seems to be invalid, try posting it in like Notepad or something, and after that it should work. But yeah, that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be jumping into the 3rd Canadian Infantry shortly, so keep tuned, or stay tuned, and I'll see you guys back in the next one. Take care.